The autumn leaves danced across the pristine grounds of the Whitmore estate as 28-year-old Victoria sat in her wheelchair, staring out at the world she could observe but never fully join. Her long blonde hair caught the golden afternoon light, and her elegant pink dress spoke of a life of privilege, yet her blue eyes held a weariness that no amount of money could cure. 3 years had passed since the riding accident that changed everything. 3 years of the finest doctors, the most advanced treatments, and countless promises that feeling would return to her legs. Yet here she remained, watching life happen around her while feeling increasingly disconnected from it all. Her father, billionaire tech mogul Robert Whitmore, had spared no expense in seeking solutions. The Grand Estate's medical wing rivaled most hospitals, and specialists from around the world had examined her case. Each consultation ended the same way: sympathetic expressions and gentle explanations about accepting her new reality. On this particular afternoon, Victoria had wheeled herself to the edge of the estate's expansive gardens, seeking solitude away from the well-meaning but suffocating concern of household staff. The property stretched for acres, bordered by farmland that her father had been trying to purchase for years. She noticed movement near the property line and saw a man working in a small vegetable garden. He appeared to be in his early 30s, with dark hair and a lean build that spoke of physical labor. His clothes were simple work attire, dirt-stained and practical. He moved with a quiet confidence as he tended to his plants, completely absorbed in his work. Curious despite herself, Victoria wheeled closer to the fence that separated their properties. The man looked up from his tomato plants and offered a gentle smile. "Good afternoon," he said simply, his voice carrying a warm sincerity. "I am Thomas Mitchell. I work the farm next door." "Victoria," she replied, surprised by his direct but respectful manner. Most people either stared or carefully avoided looking at her wheelchair. Thomas did neither. "These gardens are beautiful," Thomas commented, gesturing toward the elaborate landscaping of the estate. "Though I imagine they require an army of gardeners to maintain." Victoria found herself smiling slightly. "Indeed they do. My father believes in perfection in all things." Thomas nodded thoughtfully, then returned his attention to his plants. "Perfection has its place, but I have always found that the most resilient plants are often the ones that grow in challenging conditions." Something in his words struck Victoria. She found herself returning to the fence line day after day, drawn by Thomas's quiet presence and their easy conversations. He spoke of seasons and growth, of patience and the hidden strength that lay dormant in seeds during winter. "You speak as if plants were people," Victoria observed one afternoon after Thomas had described nursing a frost-damaged apple tree back to health. "Are they not similar in many ways?" Thomas asked gently. "Both can endure trauma that seems devastating, yet find ways to heal and grow stronger. Sometimes they just need the right conditions and someone who believes in their ability to recover." As weeks passed, Victoria learned more about Thomas's background. He had inherited the small farm from his elderly uncle and had spent years learning traditional farming methods alongside modern techniques. He possessed no formal medical training, yet his understanding of healing seemed to run deeper than anything she had encountered in sterile hospital rooms. "My uncle used to say that healing comes from many sources," Thomas shared one crisp October morning. "Medicine certainly has its place, but so do hope, purpose, and connection to the earth itself." Victoria found herself looking forward to their daily conversations more than anything else in her carefully structured days. Thomas never treated her condition as something to be pitied or fixed. Instead, he spoke to her as an equal, sharing stories of his struggles to keep the farm profitable and his dreams of creating something meaningful with the land. One afternoon, as they discussed the challenges of winter preparation, Thomas grew quiet and thoughtful. Finally, he looked directly into Victoria's eyes with an expression of gentle determination. "Victoria, I know this may sound presumptuous, but I have been thinking about your situation. I have studied traditional healing methods my entire life, learned from my uncle who helped many people in ways that conventional medicine could not explain." Victoria felt her heart rate quicken. She had heard countless promises before. "I am not a doctor," Thomas continued carefully, "but I have seen remarkable things happen when we combine ancient wisdom with genuine care. Would you allow me to try some techniques that have been passed down in my family for generations?" The rational part of Victoria's mind wanted to dismiss the idea immediately. Yet something in Thomas's steady gaze and the months of trust they had built made her pause. "What exactly are you proposing?" she asked quietly. "A combination of therapeutic touch, herbal treatments, and exercises that work with the body's natural healing energy. My uncle taught me that sometimes the spirit needs healing before the body can follow." That evening, Victoria surprised herself by asking her father to invite Thomas to the house. Robert Whitmore was initially skeptical of allowing a farmer to attempt what renowned specialists had declared impossible. However, seeing the first spark of hope in his daughter's eyes in 3 years, he reluctantly agreed to a consultation. Thomas arrived the next morning, carrying a worn leather bag that had belonged to his uncle. His manner was respectful but confident as he explained his approach to Victoria and her father. "Healing is often a journey rather than a destination," Thomas said softly. "I cannot promise miraculous results, but I can offer techniques that have helped others reconnect with parts of themselves they thought were lost forever." The treatments began slowly and gently. Thomas used a combination of massage techniques that seemed to awaken dormant sensations, herbal compresses that his uncle had taught him to prepare, and guided movements that gradually challenged Victoria's muscles and nervous system. More importantly, Thomas brought something that all the expensive treatments had lacked: genuine belief in Victoria's ability to heal, combined with acceptance of wherever the journey might lead. After 2 weeks of daily sessions, Victoria felt the first faint tingling in her left leg. It was so subtle she almost dismissed it as imagination, but Thomas's encouraging smile confirmed that he had noticed her reaction too. "Feeling is returning gradually," he said with quiet satisfaction. "The body remembers what it knew before. We are simply helping it find its way back." Over the following months, sensations slowly returned to both of Victoria's legs. The process was neither quick nor easy, requiring patience, determination, and faith in the healing journey. Thomas was there for every small victory and every frustrating setback, offering steady encouragement and adapting his techniques as her body responded. The breakthrough came on a snowy December morning. As Thomas helped Victoria through her daily exercises, she suddenly gasped and looked down at her feet. "I can feel my toes," she whispered in amazement. "I can actually feel them moving." Thomas smiled with tears in his eyes. "Your body has been working hard to heal itself. We simply gave it the support it needed." Within another month, Victoria was taking her first tentative steps with Thomas's assistance. The feeling was not complete, and she still relied on her wheelchair for longer distances, but the return of mobility represented something far greater than physical healing. "You gave me back more than the use of my legs," Victoria told Thomas as they walked slowly through his winter garden. "You gave me back hope and the belief that healing comes in many forms." Thomas took her hand gently. "You always had that strength within you. Sometimes we just need someone to believe in us until we can believe in ourselves again." As spring arrived, Victoria continued to grow stronger, and her relationship with Thomas deepened into something neither had expected. They had discovered that the most profound healing often comes not from expensive treatments or elaborate facilities, but from genuine human connection and the patient belief that recovery is possible. Victoria's father, witnessing his daughter's transformation, abandoned his plans to purchase Thomas's farm and instead invested in expanding the small operation into a healing center that combined traditional and modern approaches to recovery. And Victoria learned that sometimes the most powerful medicine comes from someone who sees not your limitations, but your limitless potential for growth and renewal.